This is the Pain Train Preston Quinn, one half of the Extreme Horsemen. And when I want to hear music and entertainment, I come right here. You're listening to On the Fly with Stevie and Worden.
You are listening to On the Fly.
What's up, guys? On the Fly is back live again tonight. We haven't done a live show in a while. We're going live. My buddy Worden is here with me, as always. What's up, Worden?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm good. And if you
is your future so bright you got to wear shades? Is that
yes, that's exactly what it is. No, actually, I'm doing this in tribute to Macho Man Randy Savage, who what was it, 2011 when he passed away?
He was like 54, so it was about 6 years ago.
Yeah. So no, you said he was 70.
I thought, or 60. Was he 64? I don't remember, dude.
Maybe he was 70. So
he turned 70 now, right?
Yeah, he would have been 70 yesterday. His birthday was yesterday.
Oh, then 70. You said 2011. So
I can't remember for sure.
You may be right. You may be right because that was about 13 years, 12 or 13 years ago.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Wow. Damn, he was 54. Wow. Crazy.
But anyway, Savage's birthday would have been yesterday. And I sat back last night, watched the WWE documentary. And man, it was just amazing to watch. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Not saying much, but I liked him better than Hogan.
Oh, he's 58 when he died.
He was 58. Yeah.
So 12 years ago.
Yeah. I was a bigger Savage fan than Hogan fan, even when he turned heel.
Oh, I always liked Savage. Savage was awesome, man. I remember when he debuted and all the managers are around him and Bobby Heenan, Mr. Fuji, and then who'd he bring out? He's like, I got somebody else in mind, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And that stuff he did with Hogan, I was never a Hogan fan, as you know, we've talked about on our shows.
Yeah.
But when they got the mega powers and stuff,
that was cool.
And when Elizabeth ran out to get Hogan, I popped big time.
Yeah,
I wasn't even a Hogan fan.
Yeah, that made Hogan a little bit more cooler to me than he was before, just because Savage was with him, and you knew eventually that wasn't going to last. That couldn't last.
Oh yeah.
And that was always the plan, but yeah, Savage a whole lot better ring performer than Hogan.
And you kind of listen to the some of the interviews for like Bret Hart and some of the other ones. He was really that jealous of her. He really was. Yeah, and that's what ultimately broke him up, I hear. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she got tired of it. She just left one night, and of course he thought Hogan had something to do with it, and he went looking for Hogan. That's one thing about Savage, though. You don't want.
Didn't she go with Linda? Didn't she? When she with Linda? Didn't Linda take her in?
She left the house and went to Florida, and he automatically assumed that Hogan had something to do with. He always thought there was something going on there. But yeah, she was there, and some of the things he said though made comments about Hogan. Though, you remember the Randy Savage rap album?
No.
Oh yeah, it's there, buddy. You need to go look for it. There was one song out there called "Be a Man," and
really?
He calls out Hogan. He calls him out. Gangster, I can't wear those things. There's a reason why he only wore them to the ring. He didn't wear them long.
I remember kind of the last time I really saw him was when he's in that Spider-Man movie. My God, he was jacked, and it probably wasn't a good idea to be that jacked when you're in your mid-50s. Whew.
He was, good Lord, dude. I mean,
remember that?
Savage. But you know what? When you saw him, he was jacked, and everybody said he was,
Well, I guess he was in his 40s in 2002.
40s, yeah.
That's okay, yeah. That's still that. I mean, that can't be good for the heart, man.
No, and that was ended up what got him too was his heart. The crash.
And it just like life, you settle down, you're happy, You get with, he called it the love of his life, his high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Just sitting there enjoying a nice day and bam, just die. I mean, it's just, you get kind of settled in life. Not old at all, 58, but it's like, damn, what a way to go. I mean, just too soon.
Did you get his life together? And it was, watching that documentary and hearing his brother and his mom talk, especially his mom, talking about how he was happier than he'd ever been.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
and it's not like his dad died young. His dad was like in his 90s when he died. So
yeah. His dad was Angelo. You remember, what was it?
Angelo Passo
beat Flair. It was Flair that beat him up at one of the pay-per-views when he was in WCW, beat Angelo up. And that just set off that made the Flair Savage feud even that more intense.
Well, also that tour of Flair shop of him and Elizabeth hanging out and everything. Like, man, remember that probably pissed him off in real life. This looks too real, brother.
It probably did. Where did that come from? We Photoshopped. Really you? What the hell is Photoshop? What the hell is Photoshop? We edited the picture.
I don't know. I loved Savage in WWF, WWE, what do you call it? But man, they used him like a floor mat in WCW. I mean, he got his ass kicked by the NWO until he joined them. If you can't beat them, join them.
Well, I loved, I remember, and back then you didn't have the internet. You just had the magazines and the dirt sheets. But I loved when sitting there watching Saturday night, WCW Saturday night, and all of a sudden Mean Gene calls out, and you hear the music playing, and he comes out there and he said, this was in 94. It was right before Starrcade 94 when they did that.
You didn't have the internet by then?
I had what was the AOL?
I did.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I'm sorry. Your story. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
No, go ahead. You remember what? I don't want you to forget.
I just remember, like, you're talking about the dirt sheets. I remember that it was I'll forget. There was a rumor that I remember the night that Hogan turned. It was the night of the Kiss concert reunion tour for me. So I had to miss the pay-per-view, and I was kind of pissed about that because it was all over the internet. Piper even said it, that Hogan told him that he was going to turn. And I guess Piper let that slip, but
oh really?
Yeah, that was
that before.
Yeah, there was internet, and you had what you call the early dirt sheets. You're right. It was mostly, I mean, the internet was around, but it wasn't really
prevalent.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I remember it was a night that it was July something, 1996, and it was Kiss reunion tour.
Beach.
Yeah, it was the Kiss reunion tour, and I was like, God damn. I'm going to miss because I kind of had a feeling what was going to happen. And of course, I get home, my roommate's like, dude, Hogan turned. I'm like, dude, I have it fucking recorded. Come on.
Well, I'd probably pick Kiss over the pay-per-view anyway.
Not that lineup.
Oh, come on. Here we go.
If it would have been about 10 years earlier, maybe.
Whatever.
No, I didn't. I was disappointed in the reunion tour. They looked like they slowed it down for the other two, and I just didn't get the hype. I still love them. I went to see them on 2 more with that, but it just wasn't my Kiss. It's probably like somebody in the 80s seeing, like the original. It's like it's direct opposite. Yeah. It's like the same thing. I love Gene and Paul. They're my guys. But I mean, Ace was good. Peter, I just,
What about freaking Doc McGee's comments on the Kiss cruise? You hear that about, I wish I'd killed Peter Criss.
Well, there's a lot of people probably that feel the same way. I don't know. You've read.
I'm not a big Doc McGee fan.
Oh, I am. Toupee and all, dude.
Yeah, drug charges and all, boy.
Oh boy, yeah, that boy. You ever watch that? That Decline or not Decline? What was that one at the Moscow Music Peace Festival?
Yeah, that was the biggest joke right there. What was it? The Peace Festival or
It was the Moscow Music Peace Festival.
Yeah,
he did that to get off those drug charges.
And
But
everyone,
except Motley Crue, was, and it's like, dude, they were all hammered except Motley.
yeah, I remember that. But I think I had the CD of that event.
My favorite part is John Bon Jovi's talking, and he's like, yeah, we get to Russia. They light these torches for us. They greet us with open arms. And what do we give them? Sebastian. And you see Sebastian out there, check this out, mother, and just
I was reading something earlier this week, and I don't know what it had to be, like 94, 95. Skid Row, they must have opened for Guns N' Roses at Wembley.
Oh yeah.
And the people, I guess, at Wembley told them, you cannot play your song "Get the F Out," which they went ahead and did and got banned from Wembley forever. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny back when the F word was a big deal?
Well, look, okay, this is one of my pet peeves right here. You know how you watch one of these, I don't know what you call it, movies that was released at the theater on like a network channel like CBS, ABC, or maybe not a pay channel like HBO or something like that, where they edit some of the stuff. They will let you say GD, on one of them, but you can't say the B word. You can't say F. You can't say shit. They did. Well, I mean, what the? Come on.
Well, did you ever notice though that they're not always, like, speaking of the S shit word, that they're not always like, they don't do the same thing. Like ZZ Top, legs, shit, I gotta have her. They played that since the 80s. But Primal Scream, when Vince says, don't put that shit on me, they bleach it out. And I'm just like, and it's like, I think the GD word is more offensive than the F word because that's somebody's religion. That's somebody's religion.
I'm the same. I do.
And,
I agree.
That's somebody's religion. I don't know.
I remember, was it the Grammy Awards that year? Metallica had done one, and they performed one up there.
Is that when Jethro Tull won Best Metal Performance?
But I want to say Hetfield, when they said, cut this life off from me, he said on a live, cut the shit off from me. And I was like, oh, they didn't beat that out, but he changed that up. I don't know if there was something going on there. Maybe that was why they, you know what? I think they performed it before the award was given out. Maybe the awards people said, you know what? They were supposed to get the award. He changed the lyrics. Give it to that Jethro Tull person. It's not a person, it's a band.
I always like hearing a song. I always like hearing a song when I see a band doing it live and wondering if they'll drop the F-bomb. Like Aerosmith, Monkey on My Back. They did that on Saturday Night Live back in the 90s.
It was somebody.
And they were playing it, and I was there waiting for them to do it, and they played it live. I was like, oh, crap, it must be live. But speaking of cussing, they had a thing here they have a thing called La Semana, which I saw Kiss at in 94. It's like a party they have every fiesta here. Yeah, we have fiesta in San Antonio. Just another excuse to drink and eat. And the Kiss, it was Kiss and Slaughter that then they kicked off their tour, but Faster Pussycat was on that first part.
Oh, geez. And
he got arrested. Tammy Down got arrested here at La Semana for dropping the F-bomb. They put him in jail
for dropping the
F-bomb. So I was wondering, hey, are they going to bring back Faster Pussycat? Because the first time I saw it, it was just Kiss and Slaughter. There was Faster Pussycat. It was Kiss, Slaughter. It was Kiss, Faster Pussycat, and Slaughter. But I was like, oh, they're coming back. They did that back in May, and then they came back around August. I'm thinking, hey, are they going to let Tammy Down in? And they brought Winger in, so it was, which I was happier about anyway. So, but they used to, in the 90s, they used to arrest people for saying the public lewdness or whatever.
Yeah,
like the stuff Jim Morrison got arrested for. God, people do that every day now.
Yeah, I know. It's funny how things change. But
well,
anyway.
it's the moral depreciation America, Stevie.
I'm just reading and
rock and rollers don't bathe.
Yeah, that's Phantom of the Park. By the way, Ken Nardi, on our podcast, coming up on our podcast episode, the ultimate Phantom of the Park episode by Ken Nardi. You guys check it out. We'll have
better than the original.
Yes, a lot better than the original.
Technically ain't saying much, but it is great.
Yes, it is. I'm just looking up here on ultimateclassicrock.com. You're a big ZZ Top fan. One of the models from the Legs video, the girl that wearing the red tank top, Kimberly Herron, dead at 65.
She was the one on Legs. Was she the main model or she?
I don't know. It's just showing a picture of her up here. She's got a red tank top and long blonde hair.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah. Wow.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, you know which one it is now, right?
Hey, man.
I bet you watched that video many a night, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't, Stevie?
I didn't have MTV.
I want my MTV.
I just want Friday night videos. That was all I could get.
Friday night videos, yeah. I didn't have cable either till I moved up here.
12:30 on Friday night. You had to be up at 1:30 watching some guest host talk about videos. Yeah,
that was funny.
Thing we had back then.
That was funny about that. It was funny about MTV when it first started. It had like a Michael Jackson video, a car video, and like 14 Rod Stewart videos. Because he put a lot of videos out around that time.
Of course, about the time we're able to get MTV stops playing music. So yeah.
Wow, was that
really? Actually, it was a little while because we had one of those big satellites, and that was, I guess, 92, 93. We started getting.
Wow, you didn't get MTV till 92, Stevie?
Yes, I'm telling you, I lived a deprived life.
Wow, God, you missed the glory years of the Headbangers Ball. That was the best, dude.
They had. Well, I was at friend's house a lot on Saturday nights at 11:30, so that had cable. So that was what I was watching, or I got them to record it. There was some channel. It was a B channel. It wasn't MTV, but it was like a channel they would show video after video. You could go up there, call a number and request the video or something like that.
Video jukebox. Yeah. I remember that. And you could like see your number being picked on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah. I did that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. You could get they had specials. You could get like $3-4 or something like that. It was great. Yeah.
I never did that, but
I did.
They always play good video. You could always see, because you didn't have to go through the crap with like MTV would have some infomercial or something like that, something come on, and it was always, you'd have a little bit of a commercial, then a video would come up, 2 or 3 videos right in a row. And most time people had good taste, but every once in a while you see a stupid video come up. God, there was some terrible, terrible ones up there. But anyway, what else were we going to talk about up here?
How?
Def Leppard Hysteria 35 years ago this week.
Wow.
That
album was huge. I love that album.
I'm talking about the single.
Oh.
Yeah, the single came out 35 years ago this week. So
was that the first? That was the first single, right?
That was the 4th.
Wow. Oh, so it had been out a while. That album was a long. That album had staying power.
What was it? Was Women was the first single, and that didn't do well. I don't think it really took off to what?
Animal. Was Animal before?
Animal was second, I think.
Why did it be Animal? I think Animal. That's when I first kind of became aware of them. Animal should have been their first one because that's a catchy as hell song, man. But didn't they try to release every song on that album as a single?
Just
right?
about everyone was a single. Yeah.
But that's exactly, and that's what Shania Twain did, 10 years later.
Mutt Lange, not the most handsome man, but somehow he got the girl for a little while, and he
and he cheated on her.
That's crazy there, bud. That is crazy.
And what's messed up is he cheated on her with this girl. Well, Shania ended up marrying that girl's husband.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Yeah, I
remember
remember that. They did the old switcheroo. I've seen that happen a lot. That's a Jerry Springer episode there.
She still looks good. I saw an interview with her. Shania still looks very good. Her music sucks now because she done got Mutt. Kind of like AC/DC and Def Leppard. Not as good without Mutt.
Where is Mutt at now? I wonder what the last thing Mutt did was.
I think he's producing I heard he was working with younger bands. Well, I knew he worked with Britney Spears for a while, so.
Let's see what the last thing he did was.
Hey, did you hear about that? Did you hear about Ticketmaster and Taylor Swift?
What about?
Her tickets went on sale for her new tour.
And
it crashed their server. I guess it crashed their system. And they say that people were paying $14,000 a ticket.
I'll tell you this.
Not from Ticketmaster, but from the scalpers. That's nuts, dude.
I'll tell you this. One of my daughter's friends, he's a big Taylor Swift fan, and he got into you had to get into a lottery?
A queue, some kind of queue or something.
Yeah, to do that. And he lives right down the street from us. He's the tickets he got are in Pennsylvania. So he's going to Pennsylvania to watch Taylor Swift. I was like, and I give him a hard time about it. I'm like, oh, whatever, Taylor Swift. He's like, at least I don't demon guys that spit blood and breathe fire. I was like, okay, you should, but that's cool.
You ought to show him that clip of her dressing up like Ace or Gene.
We did. We watched it.
When Keith Urban was singing "Kiss the Girl" or whatever.
That was on the last night of that tour with Keith Urban.
Keith Urban's a big Kiss fan, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was crazy. The Ticketmaster, they're the monopoly. They have everything, and they can't. I mean, I don't know. It's having a monopoly on stuff. It
should be illegal.
It sucks.
I thought monopolies were illegal.
Well, Pearl Jam tried to do something about it, but Ticketmaster's just too big. And then they bought Live Nation, which was Clear Channel, and it's just. I don't know. But honestly, it serves a purpose. But evidently, they had this. I think I saw the scalpers bought the tickets because I saw people online from StubHub or whatever. $14,000-$15,000 a ticket.
That's crazy, dude. There's no one night in a concert worth that.
I would probably pay $14,000 to meet Jesus. That would be about it, dude.
Yeah, that's probably about it. You're paying that.
If you got the money, hey, good for you, man.
Good for you, but still, jeez.
It ain't like it ain't like she's gonna knock on your door and have a box set like Gene. Come on.
It's not like she's gonna remember you either.
Yeah.
After that night.
How does her song go? It's me. I'm the problem. You're the problem. You are giving those scalpers a thing if you're buying those tickets.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
So, also news this week, another farewell tour to announce. Foreigner. It looks like they're going to be feeling it for the last time instead of the first time. They're going out on their farewell tour. And guess who's opening up with them? Loverboy. Did you know Loverboy was still around?
Didn't Lou Graham farewell to them many years ago? It's not Foreigner without Lou Graham.
Lou Graham, no. No, look, hold on now. I'll tell you this. Kelly Hansen is the lead singer for Foreigner now.
He's not Lou Graham.
He's not Lou Graham, no, but he does a great job.
No, I'm sure he does.
But I know what you
to me, it's not Lou Graham.
Yeah. I know it's not Lou Graham, but
to me, it's not Foreigner. Sorry.
Right. That's what you were trying to say.
And they have one original member, Mike. Was it the guy that did 5150? The guitar player. He's the only original member.
Yeah.
Mick Jones. Mick Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
And didn't Eddie Trunk went off on him one time, and I agreed with him on this. It's like, God, they were playing stuff, and Mick Jones wasn't even on the bill. They were still Foreigner. Like, hey, Journey still sells out arenas, so people still want it.
Kelly Hansen is singing, and then
Hurricane, right?
Yeah. Jeff Pilson from Dockin is playing bass. One time, Jason Bonham was playing drums. I don't know if he still is or not.
Did Jeff Pilson play in Lynch Mob? He did, right?
He may have on and off, but he wasn't.
I think he played in Lynch Mob.
He may have,
I don't know.
but he wasn't
so
like
many
a
bands.
permanent member. He's been in a bunch of bands.
Yeah.
But he's like everybody always talks about. He's one of the nicest guys in show business. I mean, I would love to have an interview with Jeff Pilson.
Get chopping, Stevie. Chop. Come on.
I've already tried, dude. I tried that a long time.
Well, evidently he ain't that damn nice. He ain't gonna do our show.
Evidently he ain't paying attention to
right
Fly right now. Anyway, anything else?
Who's the band you said opening up for him?
Loverboy. You remember working for the weekend?
Are they still original members in there?
The singer, I know he's still
headband and all, headband and red pants and all. I like Loverboy.
You need to look at a picture of Mike Reno here recently.
Can you remember a time, Stevie, when that video was cool? I mean, I do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was to some people.
You didn't have MTV yet.
No, I didn't have MTV, so I wasn't wearing the headband.
So when did you get color TV exactly, Steve?
You know, it's funny. It's funny when you say that.
No, I remember black and white TV myself.
I remember we had a color TV in the living room, but I just remember we got my brother and I for 1 year for Christmas. We got a 13-inch.
That was big back then.
Black and white TV for our room, and I thought it was the biggest thing in the world. I was like, "Holy crap, we got a TV in our room!"
You know, and that kind of tells you what the difference is in time. I remember probably about 10 years ago, and when flat screens were kind of starting to come out. You remember?
Yeah.
And I had a tube TV, right? It was a nice TV, right? And I took it to Salvation Army. I'm like, "Oh, we don't take those." I'm like, "You don't take those?
Take them?"
And I mean, no, this is 10 or 11 years ago. They wouldn't take them. But you got to think about it. You know, it's like it's not the people that are less fortunate. They're selling this stuff.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't take it. I'm like, really? You won't take this? I mean, it was still 2011, 12. I mean, hello.
I mean, some kind of TV is better than nothing, you know.
Yeah, we had, like we said, we had black and white, and we had the kind of TV. Remember the TVs with the? I remember my dad one time got me it was like a 17-inch TV, but it had the VHS tape in there. I was like, oh hell yeah, man!
Yeah,
that was smoking, man. That was great.
Then everybody said, well, the drawback on that, if the VCR breaks, you're just left with a TV.
Yeah, because I remember when I got my first flat screen TV, like, hey, you want to buy this with the DVD? And I remember my TV, I wore it out. I was like, nah, I'll get a separate one. And I was somewhere the other day, and I was, hey, I'll watch that on DVD, and I don't even have a DVD player anymore. I stream everything now. It's crazy. I got an Xbox. I guess that's it.
I actually do have, believe it or not, right back here, I've got a VCR. Still got a working VCR. So, and I've got a DVD player.
Do you use it?
The VCR? I actually, you know, because I do a where I transfer for people. I transfer VHS to DVD. So I use that.
You can buy software to do that.
Well, yeah, but this is I can, but this is a little bit more reliable. I've used the software before, and
they have companies too that do that now. I was like, really?
Yeah, you pay all.
Because I mean, you can do it yourself. I mean, I could do it myself. I'd figure it out. Evidently, you can too.
Yeah, I can.
I remember when VCRs were really good, and I remember before they started releasing stuff, I remember that I found some discussion. This had to be like late 90s. And I wanted the $6 Million Man series. So I talked to somebody. I found him on some like sci-fi, you know, and he recorded them all off sci-fi. So he would send me like 10 episodes. I sent him $20. And I had them all there. And I was like, that was badass because it wasn't on DVD at the time. But that's the dark ages we had to live through, Stevie.
Well, see, my brother, back when, you know, we both still lived at home, and when we got the big satellite, he had series that he would do the same thing you do. He would record them. He had tapes like what was that show? Wings. You remember Wings?
Oh, Wings, yeah.
Yeah, he would record that, and he had what episode he had wrote down what episodes till he got all of them.
Wow.
So yeah, and then you just
now it's just right there on Peacock.
Yeah, you do all that work, and then now all you got to do is hit a button.
Yeah, that's like there was a series on in the early '80s with Patrick Swayze called North and South.
North and South, yep.
And I freaking love that series, and I ended up buying it. I bought it from Time Life, $20 a tape, or $50 a tape, and they're like 10 of them. I spent $140. Now I go to Walmart, I see it on DVD, all 3 series for $10. Like, hey, technology will get you. Hey, let me ask you a question about those satellites. Like I had a buddy of mine that had them, and they weren't really regulated back then, so you could get almost any channel out there, right?
Just about, yeah. If you got your board, like everything's got it. If you got your board fixed, that you could find different channels too. Yeah, it was it wasn't regulated. I remember. Oh gosh, what was the pay-per-view things that you could order? Anyway, there was like these channels that were dedicated to pay-per-view movies and stuff, and like for a span of 4 or 5 months, that channel came in free. I mean, because you'd see the preview, it would show the previews and stuff. And I was sitting there watching the previews one day, and I was like, and then it would give you like the first maybe 2 or 3 minutes of each thing, and then it would cut off and say, if you want this, order this. And I was sitting there watching it one day. I was like, kept on, and I was like, I watched the whole movie, and I was like, what? It's kind of like that episode of Friends where Joey and Chandler get free porn, and you're scared to turn it off because you're like, oh God, it's gonna go off. But yeah, I was getting like the wrestling pay-per-views, all of that for free for like months, and then when it went out, I was like, oh crap. But yeah, there was one night. I'll tell you this funny story. One night, me and a friend had come over, and we were watching one of the wrestling pay-per-views, the WCW one. I think it was Super Brawl 2. Sting had beat Luger for the belt. And when it got over, we were just switching. You didn't turn channels. You switched from different satellites and all this stuff. We switched to satellite, and I was just going through. And all of a sudden I look up, and there's a press conference. Sting.
I thought you were going to talk about boobies. Nah, dang.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's another story.
Only you would like press conference more than boobies, Stevie. Come on, man.
Sting is at a press conference, and all of a sudden, Rick Rude and the Dangerous Alliance come out and get ready to jump him, and Nikita Koloff makes his return and comes out there, and me and him were like, "Holy crap! Was that we really supposed to see that?" But yeah, I don't know. We find different stuff like that from time to time. You find some weird stuff up there for sure.
I remember living in an apartment. They used to have that used to be part of your rent, having free cable. I mean, it was great. And they had this channel called Rendezvous Theater, and it was porn, but it was like censored porn, I guess. That's what I've been told. I of course never saw it with my own eyes, right? But man, they would play the you could like see something and go, man, is that a no, that's just an elbow. Damn it. And you hear the I mean, you'd hear all the noises. It's kind of like that meme on Facebook. Like if you saw this, if you remember this from the 80s, you were a bad kid because you tried to see something, man. Sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't.
But
see, you just totally ignored me.
No, I didn't.
You a great thing about you.
No, I was going to tell you something. Do you remember though the wiggly line screen though, and trying
I was just talking about that.
Yeah,
I just mentioned that.
Yeah, I thought you said you found one and you were able to get it.
No, I was talking about the
squiggly lines. Yeah, we all did that. We all did that, the whole American Pie thing. I mean,
I didn't go on a pie, Stevie. I don't know what you did and stuff. So, brother, I can't defend this guy here, man. Yeah.
Wasn't big on pies, bud.
He took that cherry pie thing literally, guys. I guess I don't know, man. Look at that.
I would never. How stupid do you have to be to do something like that?
Or dead? I don't know. When you're a teenager, did you do some pretty stupid stuff?
A pie, we'll just tell you, right there, and he did it right there in his kitchen.
We'll just tell your mother we ate it. Great movie.
Yeah, go ahead and eat that one.
I don't know. I don't know how they made 4 movies out of it. That's what I don't understand.
Or there was a bunch
three
of them,
3 or 4, yeah.
but there was several of them without any of the people from the original movie out there.
Yeah, you don't have.
There's probably like 10 of them.
You got to have Stifler on there, man. That's no movie without Stifler.
I can taste the bubbles. Yeah. No, I can't taste the bubbles. I taste something else. What's the deal? I don't know if you saw this before. After this, we'll get right into our main event.
2 hours later, right?
What's the deal with the 17-string bass from ZZ Top?
I don't know. I saw that. I don't know. That's pretty cool, though. You know, granted,
look real. I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't even look real.
Well, it's kind of like a double. It's a double neck guitar. It's mostly for show. It just has a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't touch that one because I can't play a 4-string one.
I can't play one either. So I mean,
well, there's different variations of the bass. They have 5-string. They have 8-string. I mean, it's just. I think it's for show.
I don't know. It's got to be because there's no way you could play. I would. Yeah, I can't play a 4-string. If you could give 17 strings, I would totally be lost. I'm looking at it right now. This is crazy. Wow. Anyway. So, main event for tonight. And I know a lot of people, me and Worden talked about this. A lot of people give a lot of hate to this group. And we don't feel like it's rightfully so. I mean, no more than any other band from that era. I don't feel like it's rightfully so because I enjoyed it. You'll find out real quick that I enjoyed a lot of this music. I actually went to see this band in concert in, was it 88 or 89? We'll open up and say tour. Tesla opened up. We're talking about Poison. Tonight, our main event is our top 10 favorite Poison songs. And
I love that. I love the I Want Action video where they're in the diner.
Oh, yeah.
And that lady's, you guys in a band? Yeah, we're in Poison. Poison! Hey, can you sign one of these for my daughter? I mean, it was just a fun time back then, yeah.
You know, it was silly, but, it was fun. I mean, and when that came out, I remember when and we'll talk about our first introduction to Poison, and I think it was that video.
For you?
Well, no, I didn't see the video, but actually on the radio, I Want Action, and I was like, what the heck? This was like party rock for sure.
I remember Talk Dirty to Me. I think that was their first single, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was the first single. Yeah,
that song was huge, and I remember like everybody seemed to like them before it was like uncool to like them.
Yeah,
I mean, you listen to that first guitar riff. That's awesome. That's heavy. I mean, it's a fun freaking song. I mean, it's what Kiss was doing 10 years before that. It's just anthem, anthems and stuff. It's good times.
Well, the thing was with them, like you said, I'm trying to figure out when it got uncool to be a Poison fan, because some of these people that get, yourself, if they were like our age when all that came out, they loved that stuff. Unless they were like thrasher, like into thrash metal, like Metallica or something like that, they probably didn't like it. But most of the kids our age loved that. I'm just trying to figure out when it became uncool. Was it after Flesh and Blood, when they went to kind of like with Richie Kotzen, when they did the whole Native Tongue album?
I think it happened from the get. I think it happened from the get-go, because I remember the guys from Metallica. They were always slagged by the press that, oh well, we sing about this and stuff. I don't think the press ever gave them any recognition until they did Something to Believe In. So I think a lot of
that was kind of the serious song.
They represented the 80s and the excess of the hair bands, and when they were probably they were around 85, 86 when they hit.
Yeah.
Around 88, it started kind of like when Open Up and Say All came out. I mean, I don't know. I think they were just it was going to the peak about that time. And I think that it was just excess, and I don't think the critics liked it. I don't think a lot of metal bands liked it because it was so popular. That's my take on it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, and a lot of people give them a hard time about the lyrics to the songs and stuff like that. I mean, they were a party band. What were they going to write about? What did Kiss write about in the 70s?
Yeah. But Kiss wasn't taken serious either. I mean, honestly.
No,
I mean,
they really won't. But there's a lot of these people that down Poison so much, but are big Kiss fans, especially from the 70s.
Well, I don't get it how people give them, you like Metallica, but you can't like Poison. I've never been that way. I mean, I've never been ashamed of the hair bands, and there's some of them out there that are a little extreme that I never got into. But it's like I never got the hate for them. They're a fun band.
They are. I mean, and look, they were all over the place. They were great entertainment over that band.
I've seen them. God, I've probably seen them about 6 times. I saw them.
What was the first tour you saw them on?
I saw them on Flesh and Blood. I saw them. It was funny. I saw Slaughter with Kiss twice, and then later that year I saw them with Poison. So I saw Slaughter like 3 times within a year.
Wow.
And yeah, it was
times. Slaughter was like big then too, right?
Oh, they were huge.
Yeah.
And I remember us walking into the arena, and you could hear Mark Slaughter we were a little late. You could hear Mark Slaughter from the outside. He was so loud.
Mark Slaughter's
and I was like Poison because they reminded me of almost a poor man's Kiss, I guess. I mean, they were a little bit more glammy. They had the stage show. Yeah. They had the
moves.
front man.
They had I remember like Kiss did too.
And I hear other podcasts and people talking about like certain like stuff of them, and I don't get it. I
know. I'm the same way.
I mean, there's not any bands I don't dislike bands for their image. Like I mean, of course, I don't like Journey, but I just don't like Journey. It's not that
Here we go.
It's not. No, I'm just saying it's not anything. I don't like their music. Poison. A lot of people don't give them a chance and that's like Kiss because of the way they look.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you remember the first time seeing Poison?
Yeah, I didn't think anything of it.
The album cover for the first album.
I knew they were guys.
I
always hear that.
I knew they were guys, but it was close. It was close, bud.
It wasn't that way for me because that's how guys were back then. Rock stars were. That's what they looked like.
Well, I didn't ever see.
I mean, I've heard of them before, so I was smart enough to know I heard this band on the radio. So I look at their album cover. I know they're not chicks. Come on, nobody thought they were chicks. And Sebastian Bach makes fun of them about that stuff, and he looked more like a chick than they did.
And he look at himself on the.
I know.
Oh, geez. Take a look at your old pictures.
I know, but I saw something where he was ragging on them for that. I'm like, dude, you were too pretty. You were too pretty to be a guy. I'm just saying that right now.
Exactly. But anyway. All right, so. We talked about our first introduction to Poison, and now we can get right into it. Our top 10, like I said, favorite Poison songs. Favorite, not what we think is the greatest.
Well, they're the greatest to us.
To us, yeah, they're the greatest, but maybe not to you. So, Worden, I'll let you start it off, buddy.
Age before beauty, as you always say, Stevie.
Exactly.
I think my list is going to be different than yours. I think mine's going to be.
I think this is going to be a lot different. This is going to be probably one of the most different lists that we've had so far.
Yeah. I mean, I got the hits, but I also have some deep tracks.
Oh.
And I'm going to start the deep track. It's my number 10. This is off probably my favorite Poison album. It's the first time I saw them on tour. And this album is represented a lot. And I remember driving, and I listened to back when I used to listen to the whole album because we didn't have Spotify or whatever. It's like it's a cool song kicking off. It's heavier, Hell or High Water. Talk about getting pissed off about something. It says that some bitch to get on my nerves. And it's just like Brett's getting angry. Give me some angry. This is probably, and then You know, he sings Something to Believe In on the same album, but Hello High Water, he's had enough of this guy's bullshit. I mean, he's just. But you familiar with the song?
Somewhat, not big on it, but somewhat familiar with it. I mean, Flesh and Blood was, I like the album, but it's a lot of songs on there I couldn't get into. I mean, that's just me.
And that's crazy because I love the album.
Yeah, I mean,
but I actually like the first album. I like this. I like Open Up and Say On. I like Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, you talk about the first 3 albums, but let's go ahead. Well, we'll get into that in a few minutes.
When you talk your number 10, okay. Yeah.
No. My number 10 is not. My number 10 is actually one of the hits. One of the hits off the first album, and it's I Want Action. Yeah. So this will tell you how different this list is going to be, because you're going to see one of my favorite albums. My favorite Poison albums get represented a lot, and I'm not going to tell you which one it is yet, but it's not Flesh and Blood. But yeah, I Want Action. That was one of the first introductions to Poison. The party song. They did the video where they do the whole kind of like the Kiss Strutter dance. They do their own things there. They're slinging each other back and forth. But the video, is that the one? No, that Talk Dirty to Me is the other one. I Want Action.
That's the one with the lips or whatever, right?
Yeah, I Want Action is the one we were talking about with they were in the diner at the first.
Yeah,
that was funny. Yeah, just like you said, it's funny start to the video. They're not trying to be the serious rock band guys. We're looking at the lyrics. We're talking about the lyrics here. No, they're not trying to. They know they can't be.
They are who they are.
Exactly. And the start of that video tells. And you remember the whole thing about the Poison videos. They'd always play the song that was before. Like I Want Action. I think Talk Dirty to Me was playing.
Yeah.
In the background. And we missed another single too that came off that. What was that? Cry Tough. Was that a single off that album? Say you're not a fan. I'm
not a fan of that song.
That's not on my top 10 list either. But
I Want Action. I Want Action is not in my top 10 or my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I never really liked that song. It just wasn't. I mean, I hate it, but I like the part where the girl goes, "I'm not a groupie or anything," and it's like,
right.
I remember seeing that as like a 14-year-old and going, "Dude, I want to be a rock star."
Yeah, but this one. Let me see. I Want Action is my number 10, so we're on number 9 for you.
Number 9. This song is when Poison was at their crossroads. They didn't sell their soul to the devil. But I remember seeing this video, and I remember it was just Brett in the video. And I was like, okay. And he was like reflecting on the band. It wasn't on a studio album. It was on a live album, Swallow This Live.
Oh.
So it was called So Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
Your river of motion for me, dried
upstream.
I just love that lyric.
That is a great lyric. I do like that.
And I just remember it was like, I remember Brett was like only one from Poison talking because CC had gone off the deep end. And he was like looking at the band and you didn't know where they were going to go from there. It kind of ended the most successful era of the band with Open Up and Say, or Swallow This Live, which was, I liked it,
Oh yeah.
I like the album and I like that song. And so Tell Me Why. It wasn't a single. It had a video. But it looked like it was almost a history of the band kind of looking like, and they didn't know where they were going to go because they didn't know like what they were going to do with CC. I don't know if he was fired at that time, but they were at a crossroads.
He was on the way out. I don't know if he was already out or not, or that the whole MTV fiasco had already happened.
MTV still played the hell out of this video though. They were still,
well, of course they did.
It was right at the cusp of grunge.
Yeah.
This is one of the last like big hits for Poison.
Yeah. But yeah, you remember the whole MTV Awards where CC dyed his hair and then started playing a different song and got Brett. Apparently there was a fight backstage after that, and CC was gone. And Poison wasn't. You say, like people say, poor Journey isn't Journey without Steve Perry. Poison wasn't the same without CC DeVille playing guitar. You had Richie Kotzen step in the next album, and then you had Blue Saraceno stepped in for a while, but they needed CC there, and he had his demons to work with, but yeah.
It looks totally weird now. I mean, he looks nothing like I mean, he's all healthy and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he got himself straight.
He's not wearing that bandana like Brett still does. Take it off, Brett. Everybody knows you're bald.
Yeah, just take it off. Take it off. Anyway, so my number 9, it's kind of a deep cut, and my favorite album, and I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, not look where the cat dragged in, but Open Up and Say Ah. Like I said, I went and saw the tour. Tesla opened up for him. Great show. But one of the deep cuts off that album is the lead off Love on the Rocks.
Yes, I love that song.
Heavy song. What is it? She goes down slow like a shot of gin. She's got an angel's face and a devil's grin. Love that stuff, dude. I mean, he's got, and people talk about the lyrics, like we said, we keep harping on that, but they've got some great lyrics on here for that time. But the CC's guitar solo on that is pretty daggum awesome too. I mean, it takes off. He's a very underrated guitar player. I mean, people give him crap, but my nephew was over here the other night, and we were talking about, he's a big Motley Crue fan. We were talking about Mick leaving and all this stuff. And somehow we got talking about Poison. And, he went to the stadium tour. He said, I'll tell you this. I fell in love with CC DeVille as a guitar player. He played he did not the whole song, but Eruption, Eddie Van Halen's Eruption up there. And he was pretty damn good. So give him a little bit more credit than that. But Love on the Rocks, great way to start off a great album.
I even like the stuff at the end. I don't know what the hell that is. Like, is it like a Falling Rocks or something right before?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know what that is, but yeah, I don't know what it is.
This song, when I got Open Up and Say Ah, it was right before. It was right after. I think it was my freshman year it came out. And I remember it was such a controversy because of the girl with the tongue.
The girl.
And don't you remember? And don't you remember Walmart would sell that thing where it just showed the eyes or whatever?
It showed that. That was If you happen to get a cover back then before they edited it down, you were doing pretty good. As a matter of fact, I was trying to use that as my background, and I was going to put that on my background tonight. The actual album cover.
What was so wrong with that? I didn't get what was wrong.
Because she had her tongue out. Is that why? I guess. But we wasn't her. Gene Simmons all this time.
I tell you what, one of the best pictures is when Brett's in the pool with those two chicks and they got their hands over their boobs. Why weren't they offended by that?
Well, but that was the inside cover.
I was like, God, once again, God, I want to be a rock star.
Yep, that would make you want to be a rock star. Just looking at the inside cover of that album would make you want to be a rock star. But Love on the Rocks, my number 9. Number 8 for you.
Number 8 is the next song right after Love on the Rocks, Nothing But a Good Time. I remember hearing this song and it drove me nuts. It's like, what is that freaking? There's a lick on there, the guitar, and it drove me nuts. It's deuce. It's got a little bite of deuce on there.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, and I heard other people, like I read a review of it one time and it was saying, well, they're obviously Kiss fans, but I mean, they make no bones about it. But I love this video when it just shows up and the kids there washing the dishes, hey, I don't pay you to listen to this rock and roll. And,
you know what he's listening to, don't you?
Yeah. And I like their version too. I didn't hate that version either. I like that version.
I don't mind it, but I
don't hate it.
I'm not the biggest fan.
I don't hate it. I don't think it's the god awful worst thing, but Nothing But a Good Time. And I love how the guitar it's with the pyro. Everything's in color. Just a kick-ass song. This is a song that I've never gotten tired of. This song comes on, I'll jam it.
Yep.
And it's good to see, because this is like a rock and roll night for them. This is the stuff they play. You still hear it at football games. You still, I mean, it's a fun song. And I got a lot of my friends that aren't necessarily into Poison or glam rock or
they
whatever,
like that song,
but they like this song.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. That's a little bit further up on my list. So
that doesn't surprise me.
We got at least one. We got at least one.
There's one.
Yeah, there's one so far. That's one more than I thought we might have.
Going back to Love on the Rocks, I remember, like I was saying, I got that album and I went to go. I would stay with my dad, and no cable, nothing. So I played the hell out of Open Up and Say Ah. And there was this girl that I had the biggest crush on, and she kind of looked me up as she kind of stared me down as I looked her up.
Yeah. Said, I'm your poison. Now you
drink a cup. Yeah. And then, of course, everything back then's kiss related. And he goes, ooh, lick it up. Oh, he caught me kiss, and
yeah. Yeah. So nothing but a good time at number 8.
Yep.
So number 8 for me, you talked about this a little earlier. Off your album, Flesh and Blood. This was, the first time you really hear Poison get serious. And, I'm a sucker for a ballad. Number 8 for me is Something to Believe in. I remember whatever home video they came out with at that time. They came out with a home video where it's kind of like showing them on tour and stuff. But then it would show the videos, and then you hear the story about when he talks about my best friend died, a lonely man in some home, and it's one of his security guards, his main security guard from like Opening Up and Say Ah.
He's in the video too.
He's in the video, yeah. He's in the video, carried him out. But yeah, you hear about that, and then it when you hear stories like that about a song, about the lyrics they wrote, it makes you like that song even more. At least me. It shows. I like when they tell stories and when they talk about stuff like that. But it's a good ballad. Guitar solo is good. I always look for the guitar solo. That was always something back in the day when I started listening to this kind of music. All right, okay, I'm listening for how it starts, guitar solo, the lyrics. That was what I listened for, in that order too. But yeah, Something to Believe in, Flesh and Blood. It was a different kind of album for Poison, but I did like Something to Believe in. That's my number 8.
Did not make my list. Did not make my top 10. It's a good song. It's just not a good Poison. It's not a Poison song.
It's a different Poison song.
I think, I don't hate it. It comes on, I'll listen to it. But I remember I was in music theory class, and we had a teacher had another class called Music Appreciation. And it was my senior in high school, around 90, 91, I guess, when the song got popular. He played this song for students. He goes, yeah, you look at their other stuff, but of course the students who were in that thing didn't know Poison. They weren't like the rest of us that knew about it. So he actually had that song and played it for them and go, this is what a good rock pop song is. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was like a high school teacher, music teacher, gave Poison credit. And I remember my good buddy Brett that didn't like that kind of music. He was more into Maiden and all that stuff. He's the one that agrees with me that, he's a Dawkins fan, but he thinks Lynch Mob's better, like I do. So
he's wrong.
He's a Dickens fan. But he was like, oh, say it. I say, Mr. So-and-so thinks that. He goes, he's wrong.
He's wrong, but that's okay.
But him and his brother were like big musicians. They were in that kind of that George Lynch thing. But I remember his brother coming to me one time, and he knew I liked Poison. He goes, you know what? The makeup behind everything, like you just said, CeCe DeVille was a hell of a guitar player.
Yes, sir. You can't deny that. Everybody can't get past the look is what it is. And, just like you said, you can't take them serious. Some people can't take them serious because of the look. And that's what got them that's what got them noticed, though. Just like Kiss, the makeup got them noticed. You hang around for the music. So
some people just don't want to be happy, and some people just want to be, listening to stuff that,
you're going to die a horrible death.
Yeah. Oh, with that, the 7 Demons from Hell. This ain't Black Sabbath.
This ain't Black Sabbath. Nothing wrong with Black Sabbath.
Nothing wrong with Black Sabbath.
Yeah. All right. Number 7 for you.
Number 7 for me is the album title, is the sound, well, not album title, the song title for the album, Flesh and Blood. I love the flesh and blood. And when you have the drums you have the drums like that, it kind of reminds me like In Your Dreams or like War Machine, that just that heavy, just that when it has that build up at the end and stuff. But Flesh and Blood Sacrifice.
Yeah,
Tonight we give it up, flesh. I remember working, and I remember this song being on my mind at work, thinking I just can't wait to get back to my car in my 1989 Pontiac Sunbird and put my little cassette in there and jam.
Pontiac Sunbird.
Oh yeah, my first car, 1989 Pontiac Sunbird, brother. Had a great tape deck. So Flesh and Blood Sacrifice.
Yeah, what was that? Flesh and Blood Sacrifice goes together like fire and ice.
Yeah. And everything, I remember everything back then was like fire and ice. The river dance was popular. I mean, like everything was like, okay, ice doesn't last around fire, so it's just fire.
Well, Flesh and Blood did not make my list, but that is one of the I'd put it on if I had a top 5 of Flesh and Blood, that would probably be on there. You know, it had a good chorus, and I did like the Flesh and Blood Sacrifice, that part to it.
And the drums too. I mean, the drums were like
Ricky Rocket.
Yeah.
I mean,
his drums were loud. His drums were louder on this album than they were the previous two.
I'm telling you,
he had more.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these guys are not that bad musicians either.
No.
Ricky Rocket could play the heck out of a drum. I just look at, and we'll talk about that. I'll bring that up in a few minutes. We'll talk about what probably his best, what I like best about Ricky Rocket as far as performance-wise. Number 7 for me, it's another deep cut off of Open Up and Say Back to the Rocking Horse. Take me back to the rocking horse. You remember that song?
Oh yeah.
Back to the rocking horse. There was so many there. You know, I could probably put most of the songs from Open Up and Say on here. I mean, Tearing Down the Walls was another one. Good Love. Look But You Can't Touch. I mean,
gee, I wonder what this song's about, Stevie.
Yeah, exactly. The only song that I will not listen to.
Don't be a hater.
I'm going to be a hater on this one. The only song that I'm not that I wouldn't turn away from Open Up Say is the remake, Your Mama Don't Dance.
Thank you. That song is horrible.
The part where they go, and it's all because, I'm like, please, dude, y'all don't even sound like you said. And then the video when they had
I like the part that goes, out of the car, long hair. I like that part.
Long hair. But the part on the video where they keep playing the effects of the fireworks and stuff, it's so stupid. I'm sorry. They dropped the ball on that one. That is the Then She Kissed Me off Love Gun.
I don't know. No, I don't think you know.
You got a great album.
Kiss Me above this song.
Well, I'm just saying to compare.
You know, I
got a great album, and then you get this piece of crap on there.
They have a video for this song?
Your Mama Don't Dance, yes.
Yeah. I think I disliked this song so much I never saw the video. I don't remember the video.
Well,
I do not like this song.
If I could get it out of my head, I would. But, you know,
this comes up. This is up there with Cry Tough for me that I just cannot stand these songs.
Back to the Rocking Horse, though, is a pretty great song. I mean, that's another deep cut off that album. And like I said, I could put anyone on this top 10 except for Your Mama Don't Dance. So, take that did not make your list.
Number 6 is probably my favorite CC DeVille solo. This song just every time I heard it, it's like I don't know if it's because I had a bad breakup around this time. Somebody that I don't know, came very close, but not really. You know what I mean? I'll leave it at that. I don't want to talk about it. I remember this song, and I remember this was kind of the song. This in Paradise, what I was jamming by Tesla. But this solo reminded me of something Ace would do. This it's almost Ace-like to me because I could just see him playing this song. And it's off Flesh and Blood. It was my senior in high school. Life goes on while you're miles away. that solo by CeCe DeVille is just like, it almost reminds me of, it reminds me of that same thing as I Remember You, when Sebastian at the end is just like wailing and you hear that. His solo is just, it's just an epic part of that song, and it's just, when a solo is an epic part of the song, like Youth Gone Wild, he totally rips off George Lynch on that. But that song is like this song, the solo is the best part of the song. I mean, that solo almost makes you feel the sadness that's going through it on this song. Open up and say, "Oh." Can't you see Ace doing this song?
Yeah.
Or Life Goes On. I'm sorry. I can see Ace doing this song. Sorry.
I do like the end of Life Goes On when they do the whole, this last mile I travel with you, and the outro on that is pretty good. But yeah,
that solo, dude. Go back and listen. I mean, that solo is just freaking. That solo makes you want to cry, and sadness is so. I just think. I mean, that highlights how good this guy is.
Yeah. Awesome. So my number 5. Or number 6, excuse me, is Sucker for a Ballad, and this one, back at that time when this came out, I was just, I guess hitting my stride with the women, and there was one out there in particular that this song reminded me of, because she was a little ways away, but she would come down, visit her grandma or something like that, but she was right down there. Anyway, I Won't Forget You. Probably my favorite Poison video.
Oh, Mr. Paul Stanley in it.
Despite that, but
you just don't like that because he's at the Texas Jam, Stevie.
Once you know what? You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up. That is one of the things that puzzles me. How in the world you look at the video and see all these people out there at that Texas Jam. That's a concert that that whole thing I'd love to see on video or something like that, or hear the audio of it. But man, most of that video was filmed at that Texas Jam, and you could just see that crowd and feel it. You could feel the crowd, but seeing the video and then seeing
that was the Cotton Bowl, right?
I think so.
That wasn't Cowboy State. That wasn't no,
because it was more outside.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that was that, because that's where Aerosmith played. They played the Cotton Bowl in '77. So yeah.
But here's CeCe at the start of the video talking to the girl on the phone. You can tell it's not really anybody on the phone. He's rushing it a little bit too much, not giving her a chance to talk. But seeing the life on the road, and this is everybody. This was what the trend back then, showing life on the road in a video. You had Wanted Dead or Alive, but seeing him backstage with Rat, Rat was back there with him, and but yeah, Auto Miles, Come Between Us, Just Between You and Me, I Won't Forget You, Baby. Yeah. Well, and then they had to use the line, it's better to have lost in love and never to have loved at all. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. How many times have we heard that since then?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and a lot of people give it crap, say it's a crappy ballad, but I love I Won't Forget You. It's probably right up there with Every Rose to me. I mean,
they were hanging out with Paul back then because they thought he was going to produce a second album. It never worked out. And they talk about Paul and Guns N' Roses. Now Paul with Poison, that would have fit.
That probably would have worked. He probably could have done that. Yeah. But
go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
That was off the first album, right?
Yeah, that was off Look What the Cat Dragged.
They kind of run together after a while. It's like, is that Flesh and Blood or whatever? Okay.
Nah. Okay. All right, number 5 for you.
Living it up, giving up, living in the valley of lost souls. Want it all, taking the fall. I love this song. This song reminds me of Flesh and Blood. It's nothing like Flesh and Blood, and this were on like previous Poison. It's faster. It's like Hell or High Water. This is faster Poison than the first two albums, and I think that's probably why I like it. But Live in a Valley, so I love the intro.
into it.
Yeah, how it just starts out. I'm not a very good relayer, I guess. But you know what I'm talking about. The drums come in,
Yeah, I
and
know what you're talking
it
about.
kicks in, and you hear the 1, 2, and I love it. Valley of Lost Souls.
I'm sorry, bud. I'm not a big fan of that one. I'm really not. Flesh and Blood starts off. What is that freaking song that it starts off with? It's just pretty much a guy ordering through the drive-thru. Strange Days of Uncle Jack.
Swamp Juice or something like that. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
No, it's just a guy. It sounds like he's ordering a burger out of a drive-thru, and it may actually be that. But then, because when you said Valley of Lost, I just remember hearing that the first time I heard the album. And I was listening to it. Keep hearing this guy talking about a cheeseburger or something over there, and then
I don't listen to that part. I just listen to the intro.
Valley of Lost Souls comes.
And you talk about wailing on a guitar solo. CC is all over this song.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I mean, this is just like rockin' Poison, man.
Oh, that's just like and it may come up in your list later. Unskinny Bob was not one of my favorites either. No comment there. Anyway, so yeah, so Valley of Lost Souls.
Yeah, not on your list, I take it, Stevie.
No, it's not not even on my 30 honorable mentions. I'm sorry.
You've been pretty spot on about this being a pretty different list for us.
Yes, we got one so far.
We have one. Huh.
Yeah, we got one. Number 5. What started it all? Another party song. You see on the video them Brett on the phone, and that girl said, "I just want to know that." He said, and he's doing this number, and then CC talk dirty to me. Yeah.
That Brett's such a nice boy.
He's such a nice boy. Yeah, but yeah, and then CC DeVille play. I think in that video he plays about 30 different guitars. I mean. But he kills it. He kills it though, and that was when that was probably the first video I saw, because then you see them doing he does the whole swinging the guitar around his shoulder and all this. I was just like, these guys are pretty cool. I mean, they had the choreography down. Yeah, these guys are pretty cool. But
yeah, and there was something about Poison. They were innovators, and I did nothing against Warrant, but they were following. Like a lot of the bands. I mean, Poison should get more credit for kind of starting this trend. Because I like Warrant, but a lot of those bands were copycats, and everybody wanted to be Poison, and that's what helped kill the scene.
Yeah, I mean, Warrant did the whole. I mean, I remember, I like Warrant, but I remember like watching Down Boys for the first time, and you see them doing the whole choreography and doing all this stuff. I was like, okay, where'd y'all get that from? I mean, Poison, yeah, but Talk Dirty to me was the one that started. I remember. Back in the day when you actually had local radio stations instead of iHeart radio stations, you had local DJs, and they did like they had a top 9 at 9:00 that you called in and voted for songs, and they played it. And then I heard that for the first time. I was like, who the hell is Poison? And all of a sudden I was like, oh crap. And yeah, it was pretty damn.
I remember hearing this song, and it didn't make my top 10. It's in my honorable mention. I love this song. This is where it first started. I remember I had a recording off the radio, and I listened to that for so many years. I can still hear the radio. It was off Casey Kasem's American Top 40, and you can hear.
Oh yeah.
And you hear Brett. Ooh yeah. And then you hear Poison, and by Casey Kasem. That still resonates in my mind.
It's funny how you remember stuff like that, though, ain't it?
The one thing about I don't know if you noticed this, but the production on Open Up and Say All was horrible. It was very paper thin, but you're a Dawkins fan, so you're probably used to it. And but they did the 20th anniversary of it, and it's a lot better now. It's a lot better now.
Look at that firing shots.
Where's
Joe Decker when I need him?
No. Dawkins, their production was just paper thin. That's why I don't like a lot.
You're a Dawkins fan, so you're probably used to it. Where's Joe Decker when I need him?
So
no. Go ahead.
You're talking, dude. It's your
No, I
show.
was going to say, Joe Decker's our like third member. Joe Decker, we want to wish good luck to Joe Decker's son's football team this week. They're playing for a championship
Yes.
this week.
Good luck.
So good luck to Joe. I talked to Joe today. He's really pumped up for this. So we don't see a lot of Joe because it's football season, and he is like totally into it. But good luck to them this Saturday.
Yes. Good luck, sir.
All right.
Okay. We got another repeat.
Uh-oh. Wow.
This song is one of my favorites too. That I told you that I bought this album right after my freshman year, and I played the hell out of it. The production's better now, but want to talk about going over and just starting over, man. To go back to the Rocking Horse. and what's sad about that is that I thought this when I was 15. That's how tough life was already. I wanted to go back to the Rocking Horse at 15, but yeah. I like the rah, whatever he does on there. But this song comes on the Apple playlist a lot because I played a hell of a lot.
Right.
But back to the Rocking Horse. What you said about it, great song.
Yep. So 2 repeats so far because there's going to be one coming up.
Oh, yeah. So it's 3 so far, yeah.
No, it's 2 so far.
Oh, I know, but you said you have another one coming up, don't you?
No, what I was saying, I was counting that one.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's probably.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, and this is probably going to be a surprise. It's probably the only song I'll listen to from the Richie Kotzen album from Native Tongue. I always call it Stan for some reason, and it's not Stan. This song gets a lot of crap. I know on one of the other podcasts that did a Poison focus, they said this song was absolutely horrible. I totally disagree. I think it's a great song. It's put together great. You actually hear Richie in the, and I look, as far as Richie being out on his own, I have no problem with Richie. I like some of Richie's stuff, but Richie, of course, he didn't fit in Poison. He
fit in the girlfriend, though.
I was getting ready to say he might have fit in somebody's girlfriend, but he didn't fit in Poison. But he's a great guitarist, and this was different, and that's what a lot of people. It's kind of like that Motley Crue '94 album. This was not a Poison album. This was, if they'd have been called somebody else, maybe, but the Sucker for a Ballad and the one I've got is Fire and Ice, Until You Suffer Some. It just about that time I'd gone through a little bit of a breakup, and that song hit home. Lately I can tell something ain't right. I don't see the fire when I look in your eyes, sometimes up, next time down. This may be the last time that you see me around. Yeah, that hit home. And and Richie's got a pretty good singing voice where he comes in on some of the background stuff. But Fire and Ice, whatever you want to call it, Until You Suffer Some, Fire and Ice. There's another Fire and Ice reference. Just a great song off a pretty much forgettable album. But it's a standout for me. Until You Suffer Some is number 4.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Well, that's fine.
I don't hate it, but I remember they had a video for it, and I think they were on the road again, weren't they? Like traveling or something?
Yeah, I think so. Little did they know there might have been something else going on when they were doing the video too.
I didn't care for it. I liked Stan better. I thought Stan, but it wasn't Poison.
No, Stan was like, you remember that song? I always think, when I think of Stan, I always think of Garth Brooks' song, We Shall Be Free. It sounds like, and they had the whole choir back there singing with him at the end. Can you see a choir go and talk dirty to me? And
I read a thing on that song the other day that song was evidently really controversial, and I'm like,
really?
How tight wound you got to be upset about everybody having the same rights as everybody else? You got problems, bro.
Really?
Yeah,
I never thought anything about it.
I don't either. I like Stan, but one of my honorable mentions, I'll mention it now. The song I liked off this album was 7 Days Over You.
Well, yeah.
I think it's a good song, but it's not Poison. It's Poison trying to be Cinderella, if you ask me. It's got that more Because I mean, God, CC DeVille never had this many solos in a song as Richie did.
Yeah.
But I mean, 7 Days Over You, that's a song off this album. That and Stand I like. But the Fire and Ice one, I don't hate it. It's just not one of my favorites.
One that you,
Because we were doing this and I was thinking it was the Till You Suffer Some, but I had to listen to the album more and I know it's 7 Days Over You, and I don't think this was a single. I just like the song, but it made my honorable mention.
Well,
I had checked out of Poison already before this came out.
And I remember I went ahead and bought, and I saw.
Oh, I did too.
I heard Stand before I bought it, but I
had the single.
I was kind of like, it was kind of like you were loyal to him, Even I was like, well, maybe Stand will grow on me the more I listen. I'm still gonna buy it. I'm still gonna buy the CD.
There wasn't a lot of our music out there. I mean, I think what Dog Eat Dog came out. I mean, it was like the last of the hair bands. Dog Eat Dog was a good album, by the way.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I thought you said Snoop Doggy Dog came out. I was like, what are you
talking about? Yeah, too. Yeah.
But anyway, number 3 for you.
Number 3, we all been there. You're late for work and your boss is bitching. You can't get out because your head's still spinning. Half alive, a half dead. I just can't tell. I used to be able to say my hair's a rat nest. That was a long time ago.
I just can't.
But look what the cat dragged in. They played this like live. It wasn't a single or nothing, but they,
look, that was. I
got a girl on the left of me, a girl to the right. I know damn well I slept with both last night. Once again, who doesn't want to be a rock star?
That was the lead-off song on that concert. I'd open up and say, and I was like, perfect opening song.
Were they headlining on that tour?
Yes, they were headlining. Tesla was
because I remember they also opened up for David Lee Roth on that tour.
Really?
Yes, because that's when they came to San Antonio. David Lee Roth was headlining. I think that was Skyscraper. Because I think I bought Skyscraper and
it was Skyscraper.
Because I bought those two at the same time.
Yep. I wasn't a big fan of Skyscraper though. Living in Paradise was okay, but he couldn't top Yankee Rose.
Well, you didn't like the porn music of what was that? Stand Up, boom.
He couldn't top Yankee Rose though.
It's so funny how somebody that bitched about keyboards went all keyboard out in that album.
Well, he saw what was going on.
He turned down the 90210. They wanted that Just Like Paradise to be the theme song, and he turned them down.
90210 was going to use just.
He turned it down.
That would have fit.
Well, you say that now, but if it would have been there, you wouldn't have known any difference.
Well, that's true, but hindsight's 2020. But looking back on it, that wouldn't have fit.
That's your opinion, Stevie. Evidently, David Lee Roth too.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah, but how stupid is that? Like, I don't want my show on to reach the new kids of this generation. Screw that.
I don't need any attention like that.
Yeah, David Lee Roth turning down attention. What's a first?
Well, that's a first, yeah, for sure. All right. Look what the cat dragged in. It's on my honorable mention. It did not make my top 10. But, yeah, it was the perfect, like I said, the perfect song for them to start that concert with, because that opening crunch. Yeah.
Don't they close with that one now?
I don't know.
I think they close with it now.
They should. Well, I would think if you were going to open with this one, and I would think you would close with something like Nothing But a Good Time.
Yeah, probably right.
But that's just me. So we're on number 3 for me.
3.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Fatigue, or this probably would be at the top of my list. And like I said, y'all know I'm a sucker for a ballad. You couldn't get any more popular than this song was back in the day when it came out. Everybody was just like, oh my gosh. Of course, every rose has its thorn. I guess it was wrote. I think the story was it wrote in a laundromat about a breakup with his girlfriend, and poor Brett, poor Brett. I'm so sorry for you, Brett, that you had to write a song about a breakup with your girlfriend, and it goes on to be this freaking multi-million seller. But
number one hit.
Yeah,
I remember hearing this song. I go, this is gonna be a number one song.
Yeah, I mean,
I knew it.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that you back when you had the album or the cassette, you looked at the lyrics, and even before you listened to it, if you looked at the lyrics,
the ballad, yeah.
You knew it was the ballad, and you read reading the lyrics of that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be something, because
it's a well written song.
It is, and people give it crap, and yeah, it gets played a lot, and it probably would have been higher if it hadn't been played so much for me, but the video's great. I don't understand. The girl at the start, I remember that was kind of a controversial thing back then with
her ass in the air.
Yeah. Her ass in there. And then Brett coming out with
nipples showing.
Yeah. So, I mean, but perfect ballad for back then.
Great song. Didn't make my top 10 or my honorable mentions. Fatigue, like you said.
Yeah, Fatigue.
When I first heard it, I loved it. I mean, it's a great song, but it's just
me being a ballad guy, I could not leave it off my list. Because the other night with my nephew, we were talking about, I said, I will get ready to do a top 10 Poison next week. And he was talking about, okay, what's your number one? I said, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but he said, I think I know what it is. I said, it's not Every Rose. I said, that may not even be in my top 5, but
I guess I'm kind of noticing something between us is that you're more of a ballad. I'm more of a rocker.
Yeah, I am.
Because I've noticed that about myself too. I like that song, but I like, like we're talking about the Poison songs, like Valley of Lost Souls. I like that song more than you do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, I've always been a sucker for a ballad.
You've always been a sucker in this period.
I am a sucker. Love is for suckers, like Triss's sister. Ooh. But you'll notice my top two are not, neither one are ballads.
Well, I know what one of them is. I just don't know what the other one is.
Yeah. So what's number 2 for you?
Number 2 is probably my favorite Poison ballad. You had it earlier. There Was a Girl Involved.
Of course.
And it's not just because Paul Stanley's in the video, which was also very cool. I remember rewinding that. Oh my God, they like Kiss. They hang out with Paul Stanley. One of my favorite ballads. I mean, this is probably my favorite Poison ballad. It's neck and neck with Life Goes On. I just, I Won't Forget You. And I've heard other podcasts talking about how syrupy and crappy this song is. Yeah. I saw Poison, I think, God, it had to be 10 or 12 years ago with Cinderella. They did some kind of tour together. And I remember listening to this when they played this song. And I remember thinking back, having all these flashbacks. I mean, a song can do that to you. But I love this song. I never got tired of it. This is another song that, you show somebody why you like Poison. This is my favorite, of course, it's my last ballad on the list is, you can probably tell, but I love this song. I love the acoustic that kind of started the acoustic craze. Yeah. All these bands started coming out with like country-like songs, but I Won't Forget You. I Won't Forget You, Stevie.
Even though I should.
I could let you fade away, Stevie, but that just wouldn't be me. Oh, baby.
Shush. Anyway, so that's
3 so far?
3, yeah.
3?
Yeah, well, not so far, but getting ready to be. Getting ready to be.
That's right. So 3 out of 10? It's not. Yeah. It's like you said. It's going to be a different list.
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that.
Well, that's still not. I mean, that's the majority of them are different, so that's good.
Number 2 for me. You talked about it earlier. Nothing But a Good Time. Just like you said, when this song comes on, I'm not like, oh, I can't listen to this again. I could listen to this one over and over again. Say I spend my money on women and wine, but I couldn't tell you where I slept last night. Stuff like that. I mean, it's the ultimate. It's a party band, no doubt about it. And people looking for Eagles lyrics and Poison songs are not going to find it. That's for sure. It's not going to be any Hotel California from Poison, even though they might have covered it. I don't know. They did an album of covers, but I don't think Hotel California was on there. You remember that album of covers they did? They did an album of covers. I forgot what it Poisoned. I think that's what it was called, like a Poison version. They did an awful version of.
I'm not
Big
a
Bad Jim.
I don't like covers.
There's some I like, but
I'll listen to it, but it's like God Gave Rock and Roll to You. I like that one. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean something like that, but
But number 2 for me.
I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time guessing what your number 1 is. I really am. I don't know. It may be my number 1.
It may be. I'm trying to figure out what your number 1 is, but I mean,
this song is about life. It's about taking the ball by the hands when you're young. Ball. Balls. I don't know what it is. Taking what is it? What's the saying, Stevie? You're a sports guy. I mean, taking the bull by the horns, maybe.
Bull by the horns, not the ball by the. What are you talking about?
Yeah, when you're young. I played this song. I remember the night I graduated high school. Me and my buddy jammed this song after of course, we had the celebratory smokes. But Lovely Women in a Million Miles, Ride the Wind. Never Coming Back Again. Ride the Wind. That is my favorite Poison song. If I'm ever feeling kind of down about something, I put this song on to kind of cheer me up, because it's like it kind of shows you how short life is,
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't been lovely ladies in a million miles. That doesn't always come to say miles, maybe. But Ride the Wind, like I said, we jammed it after I graduated. We were, I just always have loved this song. It just takes me back to a simpler time.
Yeah, definitely. Ride the Wind is on my honorable mention.
I gotta guess yours. Kinda.
But I do like Ride the Wind.
I know what your number 1 is. I think I know. I know.
We'll see.
Was it a hit? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, it was a hit. Somewhat of a hit, I guess.
I think I know what it is. It had a video, right?
Yes.
I think I know what it was.
Okay.
And we haven't talked about it yet, right?
No, it's not on your list.
Yeah, I think I know what it is.
Because
you're a sucker for a ballad, right?
Yeah, it's not a ballad though.
Kind of a ballad? Kind of?
No. This is not a ballad.
I want to try to guess this, Stevie. Don't tell me. I want to guess it. I think I know what it is. It's off your album. It's off the album you like the most.
Yep.
I know what it is.
You win big.
Can I tell you?
Yes, you win big.
I knew it. I knew it. Because I looked at my list and I go,
what's left?
And I was like, yeah, that's got to be it. On my honorable mention, by the way. Good song.
Oh man, I love the start of it. And this is what I was talking about.
The drums,
Ricky Rocket. Yes. And he plays his butt off on that video. I mean, you just see it. He's standing up. I mean, he was one of the first ones that you saw stand up and play the drums. But yeah, I love that intro with the and then the guitar solo is great. CC does a great job. And it tells a story too. I mean,
is that the video where Ricky, the bass player, is like smoking all that cigarette? Is that the one he's like smoking a lot?
Yeah, Bobby Doll.
Right.
It tells a story about a girl that wants to go be a star, wants to move. The dad is like, dad and mom are not really great. The dad's, I've seen him in some other stuff, but this mom, she's not one of the greatest actors of all time either. And I guess that's why she's in this Poison video. But she said, where you want to go? I'm going to LA and I'm going to leave tomorrow. And then you just see them like look at each other. And of course,
Guess a good thing she didn't end up on a couch.
On a couch? What are you talking about?
Casting couch?
Oh yeah. Let me get to this story now. This tells you how desperate some some people are to make it. What is a girl that looks like that doing with a man that looks like that guy that's like her agent or whatever he is? I know, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be.
But that guy he's an actor.
Oh yeah, he's
he was
been a
a
lot
good,
of stuff.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I saw an interview. He's not one of the nicest guys, but he just has that look, you know.
He's passed away.
Yeah, he passed away recently. Yeah.
But the funniest part of the whole video is when she kicks him right square in the nuts coming out of that thing. Because you see him circling around to come around in, and as soon as he meets and he does a great job acting with it too.
And right at the end of the video, another girl gets off the bus.
Yep, and Brett takes her away on his little yellow motorcycle, and apparently that was Brett's girlfriend at the time, the one that it was in the main girl in the video. But man, I love Fallen Angel. It's like obviously my favorite Poison song, but and it would have been, even without Fatigue, it probably would have been above Every Rose. So
you're fatigued on that song?
No, I'm talking about on Every Rose. I'm not fatigued on Fallen Angel at all. Matter of fact, I watched the video a couple of times the other day just to. I was like,
that was a big hit for them. I mean, it wasn't like Every Rose, but man, Poison, man, they were always on MTV. They were big on the radio too.
Yeah, I mean, they were everywhere at that time because it was cool. It was cool to be a fan of like the hair metal bands. I mean, and Poison was pretty much, I guess, until, wouldn't you say Poison was like at that time when Open Up and Say I'll Come Out was like the hair metal band?
Oh, definitely the biggest.
Yeah,
I mean, you had Rat and everything, but nobody was big as Poison.
Rat had kind of, I guess, hit the ball, they had gone over their peak.
They did that with Round and Round. They were what Rat had at this time Rat had I Want a Woman and Way Cold Jr. That's what they
that was what was the name of that album?
Reach for the Sky.
Reach for the Sky. I think Rat kind of, and a lot of people would disagree with me. Round and Round was good. That was what got them noticed. But I'll tell you this, one of my favorite Rat albums is Invasion of Your Privacy. What's the name of that song? Lay It Down. Oh man, great album.
Rat has a lot of great songs. Rat's a great.
They do. They really do. Another, and we'll have to say that for a Rat list later on. I won't give that away because I don't want to give a lot of my stuff away. I want you to.
I like the stuff up to Detonator too, and that nobody.
Detonator was good. You know who worked on Detonator with him, right? Desmond Child.
Yeah.
Yep. So
was Nobody Rides for Free? Was that on Detonator? That was on
No, that was on the Point Break soundtrack.
That was a great song. That's a great song.
Yes. I love Nobody Rides for Free. The video is pretty cool too. You notice though, Robin Crosby's not in that video.
You think about Poison, and you think about how long they've been around. They really only had like a career where they were big on like 6 years, from like 86 to 92. I mean,
yeah.
You kind of think about how many albums they sold during that time. But I mean, and they're still around playing. They're obviously, the highlight of the stadium tours from what I hear. I think that's why they weren't invited back. That's my opinion. I think they outshone Def Leppard in
the top two.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
but nobody asked me my opinion, But you think about it, from 85, 86 to 92. They had all those albums, and 30 million albums they sold? I mean, that wasn't a very long career, but man, you talk about 6 years of just, because they were done by 92 when Stan came out, or whatever the album's called. So I think
Native Tongue. I always do the same thing. I always call it Stan.
But I mean, they were still around, and like they survived through the grunge era. I mean, Bret Michaels had, just like Gene had that,
that reality show
that helped. I mean, everybody talked about Bret. Yeah, I never saw a damn one.
I watched it a few times, but it wasn't.
He almost died here. He was here in San Antonio playing, and he had a diabetic episode, and he was put up here for a couple of weeks when that happened.
You remember when what award show was it at where the door coming down hit him in the head and like killed him there too?
Yeah, I think he says that calls the later episode.
That's what it was. Exactly what it was.
But he was playing here, and he stayed here because he almost died here. I think he was on route here or played here or something.
You know, so we had Nothing But a Good Time was a repeat.
Rockin' Horse,
and Nothing But a Good Time.
I Won't Forget You.
Yeah, that was a 3. So we had 3 repeats. And all right, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Honorable mentions.
Look But Not Touch. No Explanation Needed off a great album. Open Up and Say Ah. Not On Yours, Unskinny Bop. I like that song. I remember when it came out, and I had my friends.
I bought the single, and I was like,
that was the video Bobby Dahl was smoking on when he's sitting there playing the bass. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, he did that in a lot of videos.
Yeah. Fallen Angel, one of mine. Talk Dirty to Me, and 7 Days Over You.
Right. Okay. All right. Ride the Wind, which was on your list.
Number 1.
Look What the Cat Dragged In was another one. I had So Tell Me Why was one. Want Some, Need Some was one other one. And then there was another ballad they did, and you were talking about the live album. Only Time Will Tell was on that live album too. They kind of did the Kiss thing, doing the 2 or 3.
Only Time Will Tell. That was a studio. I don't remember that one.
That was on the live album after. So Tell Me Why. I think there was. I actually think I may be wrong. And I look at it, but I think there was 3 studio songs off the live album.
I remember when they released their greatest hits, the green one, the first one in like '96, and then they did that new song, Lay Your Body Down. I was like, God, this is. Yeah, I don't know if I was like just not into that kind of music anymore, but I like the old stuff. I was like, this is horrible. I mean, this is why I like the other stuff though, but that was a big seller for them. That was like 2 or 3 times platinum in the 90s. That's how big. I mean, and Poison, man, they played. They didn't play like stadiums or arenas like they did before, but they played a lot of amphitheaters and stuff. That's a hell of a career right there to. They've had a big good run since then. Yeah.
So they had 4 studio tracks on that live album. It was So Tell Me Why, Souls on Fire, Only Time Will Tell, and then No More Looking Back, Poison Jazz.
I don't know if I remember those. I remember So Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
I saw Poison with Kiss. Was it the Live Nation? Was it Rock the Nation?
Yeah.
That was badass. I like both those bands, so I had a good time that night. That was a fun time.
Well, so now we're at the end. So Poison, just like I said, Poison gets a lot of crap, and I don't. It's not fair, but Poison was one of my favorite bands from that era. Definitely one of my favorite bands from that era.
I agree.
And like I said, the leader, they were the leading band for that hair metal. You had the Cinderellas, you had Warrants, you had
Motley may have started it though. They were
Motley started it, but Motley. Here's with me with Motley. I consider Motley a hair band, but didn't you feel like they kind of changed a little bit? Yeah, they weren't in that.
They moved on from the glam at the height of the glam. Like in '87, they were already yeah. But do you consider Rat a hair band?
Yeah.
But later, but not. I don't think they're a hair band around Round and Round area. I think later they became one. They were more of a rock band.
What do you call them? Okay, I don't know.
I think like you look at Round and Round, hair bands weren't really around that time. That was more the Scorpions, people weren't.
I agree. I'll go along with that. Hair band wasn't really there wasn't such a thing back then.
I think Poison made it acceptable.
But when they did Reach for the Sky.
Motley did it first. Motley did it first though.
Oh yeah. Motley did it first. The glam thing with Theater of Pain, that was the start of it. And then Motley totally changed to like biker stuff with the girls. Then they changed again to Dr. Feelgood. So,
They were more normal around Dr. Feelgood. They weren't really glammed
Yeah,
out.
they weren't really anything except a rock band by then. All right, so anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, Ward?
No, I just great band. You give a lot of hate for them, but man, I mean, when they were popular, I mean, I think before it got cool to hate them, I mean, I think a lot of people liked them because, I mean, but a lot of people started hating them probably because their girlfriends wanted Bret Michael. That's probably why.
Exactly. I'd rather.
This will be a good show to post on the that 80s page because, I mean, they highlighted the 80s, a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that. They were, probably you think of, I know, like you said, nobody really looks at Motley as a hair band. If you ask me which hair band, and 9 times out of 10 they'll say Poison.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Poison.
Yeah, Poison. Looking at some of the up-to-date information about it, they talk about the tour with the stadium tour. During the tour, Bret Michaels expressed doubt that the band would record another album, but hoped they would write and record another song that evoked the hits from their heyday.
But he also said they're not going to tour till 2024, so they must have maybe he has other dates or they not got along or something.
He's definitely got other dates. More power.
He's playing the rodeo here. He's playing the rodeo, I guess. We have rock bands that play our rodeo, but he just played in August, and he's already going to play in February. So Bret's on the road, man. He don't quit.
No, Bret's, out of all of them, I know Ricky Rocket had the cancer scare, which turned out he's okay. He's fine. Bobby Dahl Bobby Dahl is probably the most secluded one of all of them that you don't hear a lot about, but he was always the quiet one out of the group. So he's not really in the picture that much. CC's probably second to Bret as far as that, because CC disappeared for a while, but for a while there, like CC did that, what was it called? The Surreal House on VH1 where they had all the celebrities. He was in on that, and he seemed like a down-to-earth guy on that. But
he's a little out there though. He is.
Oh, I mean, that's his character too. He was kind of like, and I'd hate to say it, he was kind of reminding me of Ace Frehley, the way he acted in the band sometimes. Yeah. So,
he was in my top. He was in my honorable mentions on our guitar list, so I always like CC DeVille.
CC DeVille does a great job. I mean, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but yeah. So that's going to do it for our top 10 Poison list. If
you know what's kind of funny. I want to say one thing about Poison.
Yeah,
we talk about this, and we just talked about Motley Crue, but around 90 when they did Flesh and Blood, they had kind of gone. They weren't as glam anymore either. A lot of these bands that that got, like when glam died, a lot of the glam had gone away, especially from the main bands like Warrant, like Kiss, like, they weren't as glammy. So like when glam died, it wasn't as glammy as it was in the 80s. So I don't know where I'm going, but I just thought I'd mention that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood, they weren't like they were even the album before.
Oh, no, it changed. Well, a lot of the hair bands, if you notice, Bud, a lot of the hair bands, the 80s rock bands, whatever you want to call it. I know they don't like to hear hair bands a lot. Back then, they changed from album to album. I mean, Cinderella even did. Motley Crue did.
But Warrant, I'm just saying.
Warrant from Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich to Cherry Pie. I mean,
yeah, but I think a lot of those bands that were established changed. But I think they were still trying to find the new Poison, find the new Warrant, and that's what saturated the market.
Exactly. They were signing anybody with long blonde hair.
And they still look like it was 1987 and 1990.
Yeah, they were signing anybody that even resembled them. And record companies were just signing contract. That's why, like you said, it oversaturated the market, and it just.
There were some good bands that came out of there that were decent. But I mean, I think a lot of them were dated already, like 1991, 92. You get a band that, comes out that looks kind of glammy. It's like that was already the other bands have moved on. So
yeah,
that's what helped kill a lot of it too.
That's like who were they? Was Dangerous Toys.
They weren't glam though. They were
Danger.
Danger. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Remember
Trickster.
Kick Tracy.
I don't remember them.
You don't remember? I Don't Need Rules. They're bad. I mean, look up Don't Need Rules. Good song. Kick Tracy. One hit wonder.
Kick Tracy. Wonder where they got their name from.
Yeah, they saw a song called Don't Need Rules. That was a good song.
Kick Tracy. Don't Need Rules. Wow. I'll have to check that out. Is it a good song or is it?
I love it. That's a great song.
Now, was this a band that was around your area?
No, they were local. They were national. I saw them live at local club. They were national. They played them on national radio. Yeah. Don't Need Rules.
Kick Tracy band. There's one song called "Don't." You're so strange.
Kick. Yeah, they got it. No, Kick. K-I-K. Tracy. What are you looking it up now or what? You don't want to play it.
Don't Need Rules.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, I see them. Yeah, they look like they kind of look like they got a Slaughter vibe going on or something.
Yeah, but they were in this was like 91. It had already started to kind of die by that time. Yeah.
Don't you know that was kind of crappy though?
I like that song though. I mean, I bought the album and it only had one good song on it.
Lord have mercy. Isn't that look, that was a sign of the times back in the day. You had to buy an album no matter what, and then you get one with one song on it, you're like, oh crap. But waste of money. But anyway, so that's our top 10 favorite Poison songs. You can compare your list with us, and you can let us know what we did right, what we did wrong, and what's your list. I'm sure there will be a lot of hate out there for our list, but
as always,
that's okay. That's okay.
Whatever.
I don't care. But yeah, if you want to check us out, you can check us out anywhere you get your podcasts at: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Good Pods, Podchaser. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just easy to find the final score. Oh, On the Fly. You can look up On the Fly. Sorry guys, I did 2 podcasts in a row tonight. Well, so I've been talking for like the last.
How about them Eagles?
The last 3 hours. How about them Packers?
That sucked. I knew they were going to lose that game.
Dude.
They were up 2 touchdowns. I go, they're going to lose this game. They're going to lose this game. I'm telling
you guys, if you guys as Cowboys fan don't want McCarthy gone after that crap.
But Stevie, it's not going to make any difference. You're still going to have Jerry Jones. They're going to get another
yes. I know, but
it's going to be the same thing.
To hear his justification for going for it on 4th down and overtime. Well, I thought we'd get a penalty called. What?
Well, there was one penalty that they were all over CeeDee Lamb. They should have gotten the play.
Yeah,
before.
I agree with that.
Hey, but you got to move on. You got to move
on. That's part of the game. You look at the Eagles game the other night. They miss a blatant face mask on a turnover. I mean,
and the Cowboys got away with some call. They were talking about it on there that that's why Dak hiked the ball so much. But I honestly think the Cowboys will continue to be the Cowboys no matter who coaches them.
I've said that year after year.
But McCarthy, what's going to happen? McCarthy not making that touchdown, lost his job. When they don't make the play, when they do make the playoffs and lose or don't make the playoffs, he's gone after this year because of that play.
I think so.
I think so too.
I think so. I mean,
because Jerry's got to be Jerry, and it's like, he gave Jason Garrett 10 years. I think McCarthy deserves more. I think McCartney deserves more because they're talking about Sean Payton. How many rings does Sean Payton have? 1. How many does McCarthy have? 1. It's not a lot. I mean, but that team has no discipline to get those penalties like that. I mean, and your quarterback's not that good.
I'm sorry.
I saw something on Facebook like Dak in 2016. Dak's not the guy. I was saying it back then. I mean, I love the Cowboys. I'll cheer for them, but I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid, dude. I know that, I'm not in the cult, I may be a member of the cult, but I don't believe in the cult. How's that?
That's a good way to put it.
Cowboy fans, because the Tom Landry, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin's days.
And look, there was 2 things about that Cowboy fans were talking about. One thing was why we didn't go for the field goal was because, that would have put them in good field position if we missed it. you still gave them good field position when you went for it on fourth down. At least you could try to get points out of it. Another thing, one Cowboy fan on that's friends with me on Facebook made the comment about who was it he was talking about? A quarterback he was talking about that was, oh my gosh. He said he is not a good quarterback. You know, he was talking about Aaron Rodgers, I think. And he said,
well, he is against Dallas. He always has
talking
been.
about he was overrated or something like that, and he couldn't. He was not going to get the job done.
The guy's a hole, but he's a good he's a great quarterback. I'll give him that. It's like Tom Brady. You know, people hate him. He's still a great quarterback. You can say what you want to.
I mean,
but Aaron Rodgers is just Aaron Rodgers is such a sore winner. He's just such a. I won't say it. He's just such a. I mean, he's a sore winner. I mean, when he wins, he rubs it in your face, and when he loses, he doesn't accept that he lost.
Well, I mean, it's somebody had it, and I shared it on my final score on my sports Facebook group. Somebody said, "Why, when things go wrong, does Aaron Rodgers always look at the camera like he's on the episode of The Office?" I'm like, what the heck? Hold on.
I can't wait, Stevie, for the excuses the Cowboy fans are going to make this week when they go to Minnesota.
They'll probably beat Minnesota.
You don't think Minnesota's that good?
I mean, yeah, I do think Minnesota's that good, but I think this is a game.
A trap game.
Yeah.
Kind of like Green Bay was for us. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, it's, people are talking. I mean, I knew the Eagles would eventually lose because they're like us. They have a good run and they win a few games. Everybody thinks they're great. Then they start, down the line when it counts, getting close to December. That's when they start kind of messing up. But I mean, the Eagles are still best team, and it's amazing though how quickly
they don't have the best record. They're tied with the best record right now.
Yeah, but it's amazing how quick they fell though. I saw they fell 4 or 5 spaces, and there's people with more losses ahead of them. That's how much people don't believe in the Eagles now.
Let me tell you this though. It's just like, and this is the same situation I said about Tom Brady a couple weeks ago. Now that the Eagles have lost, before this, everybody was like, oh, the Eagles, they've got a chance to go undefeated the whole year, which I never believed. But now they'll be talking about there's problems in Philadelphia. There's problems in Philadelphia. They're already talking about it. Just
Good.
like with Brady. When Brady was struggling, they were talking about that. But as soon as he won a game, they were like, he's back. Praise the Lord, the GOAT is back. And now he's won 2 games in a row, and it's just getting worse. So, it's just funny how fickle people are when you.
Boy, did the ex-wife move on quickly. She already got a new boyfriend.
Yeah, wasn't he like one of the her instructors or something?
Yeah, but he didn't deflate anybody's balls. On that note,
I'm not even going there. Let's end it on that. Anyway, that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Next week it's Thanksgiving, so we hope everybody has a happy Turkey Day. But the next thing up for us is continuing our 80s series, and we did 1980 before. So guess what?
1987.
1994. No, 1981 will be next, where we do our top 5 songs, albums, and what else? TV shows. We're adding TV shows now, or what are we gonna do there?
Yeah, TV shows, movies. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. You'll see it. 1981 will be up next, but hope you guys. If we don't get a chance to tell you guys next week, have a happy Thanksgiving, and hope you have a safe, happy Turkey Day and Black Friday.
I'll be home watching the Cowboys lose. So
who do they play on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention. They always play on Thanksgiving.
They always. Is it Washington?
I don't know.
Oh, Washington. It may be Washington.
They played Washington last year, I think.
No, because Washington's playing the next 2 games for Washington are. Oh, you got the Giants.
Another overrated team. They're NFC East. We expect they're overrated like us. Hey, we won that first game against them. That was one of their only losses. So
that was one of their 2 losses.
Yep.
All right,
Stevie. Well, you have a nice Thanksgiving there.
Well, I'll be talking to you between now and Thanksgiving, but
you will. Oh, damn.
Sorry,
I
dude.
was hoping I was gonna get a break. Damn.
No, you don't. You gotta work.
That's what I would be thankful. That's what I'd be thankful for. A break from Stevie.
I'm gonna be like Ebenezer Scrooge. You're what, Bob Cratchit? Anyway, guys, you have a great week, and we'll see you next time on The Fly.
See ya.